They bring experience, polished expertise, and the confidence that things will be different this time. But it never is. They fall one by one. They depart one by one, not triumphantly, but in surrender. The best at what they do. The elite. The relentless. However, when tested, they crumble. Although you are not a pattern, they believe they are in control, have a strategy, and can predict and target. You are neither a case to be resolved nor a trail to be followed. You're a force. They can't control an enigma. They can't explain in rooms where secrets are worth money and stories are based on intrigue and dread. Not because you hurt them, but because you destroy them. They muttered your name. You undermine their confidence, remove their expertise, and redefine the limits of what they thought was possible. Another one has broken now. Another notices something and looks back at them as they stare into the abyss. They understand deep down that there is no way to capture something that does not exist inside their framework. They leave feeling unsettled. They won't give up. They will continue to do their best. But since you are not the hunted, they will all eventually meet the same fate. The realization is that you are equipped with tactics honed via prior victories. They enter the game certain that they understand the rules and are comfortable with the patterns they have mastered. This time, however, something is different, a slight shift that escapes their attention. Even if their hands stay firm, their certainty wanes as the air becomes heavier with an unspoken presence. They first dismiss it as exhaustion, the weight of habit, or the residual consequences of earlier attempts. As a consequence, they proceed as normal, searching through names, drawing connections, and devising a strategy that should lead to an unavoidable conclusion. However, when pushed, inevitability breaks down. They pull threads that unwind into nothingness. Their queries are received with hesitation. Their replies are worthless. However, they are irrefutable and serious. They follow pathways that swerve back on themselves, returning them back their beginning location or to nowhere at all. What should be easy turns into a labyrinth with no exit, no center, and no obvious logic. They halt because something beyond their knowledge and cannot be classified, pursued, or claimed. Not because they failed or were terrified. They also express caution rather than grief when they return empty-handed. Let it go. Not because they are fearful or hesitant, but because they have gotten a glimmer of something inappropriate to pursue. They believe in their correctness. Sophisticated system forecasting algorithms with a track record of revealing the hidden. They've never let anything slip through their grasp, yet everything breaks down here. It seems at first to be a misdirected signal, an anomaly in a sea of data. The distortions then worsen. They are unable to grasp a point with their tools. Their concerts never end and keep repeating. The numbers do not add up. Places change. Timestamps are vague. They analyze, double-check, and go beyond. But the more they do, the more distorted reality becomes. The absence of a response is an impossibility, not an error. Even their intuition fails them when they shift their approach from calculation to instinct, a shape that exists only in its refusal to be named. A presence that exists on the edge of perception, neither fully felt nor seen. Logic provides no grounding. Their knowledge becomes obsolete. Their methods aren't ineffectual. Rather, they do not apply. Reaching for something that did not exist in the first place is akin to trying to map the sky using sound. Certainty moves farther away, the closer they get. Finally, they must accept that not everything that exists can be enclosed. You cannot follow anything that moves. Even with the most ardent efforts, certain things remain beyond of grasp. He made darkness his safe sanctuary, wrapping himself in a tent with thick clouds and black oceans. This cosmos includes things that were not meant to be seen. Things that go through the shadows do so because the surrounding light is too bright for people who are not ready to comprehend. Not because they're attempting to conceal. They came with the impression that they were in command and that this was just another case assignment or issue to monitor and report on. They assumed they could watch from a distance and gather information like they had always done. They failed to see that this was never about observation. Studying was never the goal of this. What happens when people get too close was the focus of this. It is subtle at first. An odd error here, a missing detail there. The footage seems to vary from what they recollect. The notes are inconsistent. The timeline is nonsensical. They brush it off, give it another try, reevaluate, rewind, and go back. However, everything evaporates in front of their eyes, and the statistics are inconsistent. The data is unable to retain its shape. The experience starts, not fear of something else. Something more fundamental, such as a weight on their chest, an unseen force shifting the ground under them, or an invisible presence watching from just outside their line of sight. They come to a standstill. They blinked. When they turn around, there is nothing there. However, the feeling persisted. They attribute it to tiredness, paranoia, or a heightened imagination. They continue to work, monitor, and progress. However, the air becomes thicker. The more they push, the more they lose attention and are unable to grasp the thing they claim to be holding. Then they realize they are no longer the ones witnessing information that has not been obtained by them. They do not have authority. They were assigned to investigate, understand, and convert you into a measurable thing. They are now being probed. The rules have not altered throughout the globe. Even a manual, training, or experience cannot prepare people for the implications of having the purpose reversed. They arrived looking for answers, but instead encountered something unintelligible. They thought they could follow you, but now they are witnesses to an uncontrolled occurrence. They tell themselves that if they take a step back, take a big breath, and review, they would be able to make sense of it all. But they realize in their hearts that this is no longer a job. This is no longer an investigation. This is an interaction, and not everything should be seen. Allow your love to shine if God's blessings fill your heart to capacity. Donate $20 or more by clicking the Super Thanks button to help cultivate the seeds of faith that will transform the lives of countless others. His wealth are mirrored in your donations. Serve as a conduit for His grace and watch His kingdom expand through you. The report might be ended with a single line. This marks the conclusion of their mission. When a seeker, investigator, or pursuer approaches the end of their lives, they're unable to continue. They return, but not totally. They were tasked with defining you, condensing you into something understandable, something that made sense. They don't have any when it comes time to present their findings. Their reports are worthless, not because they are sloppy, but because there are insufficient words. They are sitting there staring at blank screens, unwritten notes, and records that will never be written, unable to document what they no longer understand. Their hands linger on keyboards. How can you explain an event that was felt but not seen? How can anything be measured if the measurement itself is discarded? Truth resists form. The weight of what they've been through breaks the vocabulary they employ to comprehend the world. They were intended to unveil you, but all they get is their own chaos. Some folks just give up on the job. Some individuals reject all they ever believed in because the quest was never about reaching conclusions. Some folks never return. It's due to an unexpected warning. No weapon intended to hurt you will succeed. The name is Isaiah. They felt they had a position of power. They felt they were in control of making choices, changing pieces, and overseeing the board. They never understood they weren't allowed to play this game. You see, you are not like everyone else in the world when it comes to favor. You move. You go undercover. You are part of something bigger than any strategy, method, or intelligence. Attempting to understand you, certain that you are measurable. They bring their maps, calculations, and methods. However, how can one define something that was never meant to be contained? How can you find out what's in a region they can't reach? They assume they understand you, like you're just another target. They think they can follow your footsteps, predict your behaviors, and track your progress. However, something happens the moment they reach your zone. They lose confidence. They lose control of the situation. Initially, they describe it as a coincidence. A modest error here, a minor failure there. However, it continues to happen. Their equipment fails out. Their inclinations betray them. Everything grows more unstable as they approach. Then they understand you're not the one who is disappearing. Yes, they are. It's how they see the world. They are in control of the situation. They came, supposing they were the hunters, observers, and commanders. However, since this was not a pursuit, they were unprepared for what they found. It is not tough. You do not have to fight this battle. This is already decided. The opponent cannot access what has already been secured. What is already out of their hands is beyond their control. The truth becomes increasingly evident the harder they try. Your intent is not to be caught. Dominating you is not your goal. To move through this world unafraid, unshakable, and unstoppable. Is it your mission? Let them try again. Allow them to offer their best. Allow them to gather their power. They're most tenacious. They're most clever. Every move they take will get them closer to the one thing. They were never prepared to confront the reality. As a result, it will not matter. Pursuit was never the goal here. This was about the outcome of their efforts. They believe that determination alone will keep them focused on their objective, and that their willpower will overcome the distortion. However, something shifts in their thinking. A concept arises silently at first, almost undetectable like a ball. Why does this feel different? Why does their journey seem more like a revelation than an investigation? They continue to follow their orders, assuring themselves they are still in command and working on a solution. They are, however, drawn further inside themselves with each step, so they proceed. Their hunt for you takes unexpected paths, a disintegration of their own assumptions, a danger to the system on which they previously depended. They're the ones being rewritten. Nonetheless, they began to describe their research as focusing inside rather than outward. Their goal now seems more like reflection than surveillance. And then they turn aside and return to the world they thought they knew. They've changed, not because you forced them to look, but because they discovered something that enabled them to identify themselves. He foils the crafty people's intentions, stopping them from succeeding. Job. They never give up. They continue to push. They keep assuring themselves that if they take the risk, they will find a method to lure you into their clutches. Dig deep, spend enough, and send enough. However, they have no clue what they are up against. You see, it makes no difference how much force they apply when something is covered, separated, or out of reach. The amount of power they imagine they have is immaterial since you were never placed in their hands in the first place. You are not something they can handle. They send the best, the ones who never fail and have immaculate records. However, skill is not the goal here. Experience is not important in this situation. This has nothing to do with the severity of their pursuit. This is referring to the fact that it is impossible. At first, they are oblivious of what is happening. They think it's bad luck, a mistake, an execution, or a series of adverse coincidences. They get back together. They reshuffle and change their methods. However, nothing has changed. The reports reveal nothing. The world's top trackers, the analytically oriented minds, the people who have never failed, all come up empty-handed. Their explanations are stuttering. They utilize riddles while conversing. They sat in front of their supervisors, silent, terrified, and they were unclear of what had happened. We had them, and suddenly they weren't present. Something was observing us, but we're not sure what. Every lead we had turned into dust. However, the person who sent them and is in command of the strings is unable to perceive the reality in front of them, because doing so would mean admitting that no amount of power, control, or calculation can ever undo previously made judgments. So they give it another go. They sent more. They increase resources, refine the strategy, and attract new hunters who are unaware that they cannot win this fight. However, the outcome is always the same. We just need better approaches. They tell themselves. They persuade themselves that the assignment has not been assigned to the appropriate personnel. But the truth is chewing at them from the inside out. It's not that they're lacking in strength. It's not that they lack intellect. Certain things in this world are sovereign. They're unable to understand this. Certain objects are immune to the effect of money, power, or persuasion. How about you? One of those things is you. They feel that this is related to pursuit. They feel there is a plan at play here. What they do not realize, and will never understand, is that this is about the bounds of control themselves. They will never be able to clutch something that will not hold, no matter how hard they try, how much they spend, or how often they promise themselves that the next time will be different. The chase ultimately fades into oblivion, not because a discovery was made or because the search was completed, but because they see how worthless it is. The framework they are accustomed with does not include what they are searching for. They are able to scan, monitor, and predict. You are still incalculable. You do not merely move. They design complicated methods to locate movement. They are unable to measure the space you walk through. You cannot be accounted for by software analysis. This cannot restrict you. You don't exist in the manner that others believe you should. Therefore, no structure can confine you. They first deny the conclusion. They persuade themselves that patience and hard effort will pay off, and there is still hope. However, nothing has changed since time and technology have never been a problem. Capture was never an option in our quest. Some may feel that a new approach would improve the situation and that employing more force is the answer. However, since you are not someone to be sought for, nothing works for people who should notice you. You are something only they can see, and you will always be an outlier, an enigmatic presence. You don't run away from them by happenstance, but rather by decision. You're out of their grasp. They deploy their most skilled destroyers, tenacious operatives, and top trackers. They come prepared to face any scenario. Nonetheless, they shatter one at a time. They respond with hushed whispers and lifeless eyes. No excuses, no records. They'll never say it aloud. That much is clear. Something. Stop them. Something they will not speak. The directives are still being issued. The attempts continue. Why? Because you are unlike the others. Because you are not a controllable component or variable. They are capable of changing. They must understand. But they will never do so since something is beyond their grasp. It has continuously waited and established a line that they are unable to cross. Some folks realized it before it was too late. Several individuals reversed their course. The others will continue to come because they never discovered you. They'll continue to fail. They could never claim you. The signs are accessible to you. You have felt the weight. Express your expertise. Discuss what you have or have not seen. It does not affect reality. They continue to watch us. They think they have all of the answers and can decode the code and expose them with enough money and effort. However, the quandary of how to catch the uncatchable becomes more serious with each succeeding try. How can you confine something that grows in inaccessible areas? They are drawn into a deeper reality that no calculation, equation, or technology can alter. However, they are unaware that each setback and misstep they make is costing them more than just terrain. They get entangled in their own web of presumptions and mistakes of judgment the more they try to bridge the gap. And what they don't grasp or understand is that this extends beyond just who you are. It's about what you stand for, the things they can't change, and the aspects of life they don't understand. You are more than just a target. You're a line. They will never cross a barrier that is out of their reach. Their refusal to acknowledge that some things exist in a domain they cannot define is the emphasis of the quest, not yours. And every time they think they've found out how to get in, they realize too late that they were never meant to. They will still give it their best. Even if the most talented persons in their profession, those who have previously been successful, are certain that they can win with the right approach and perspective, they will continue to come. However, they will invariably learn that they are not dealing with what they expected. They will never have control over what they are up against. They thought they could measure, analyze, and conquer. But they were wrong. You are not an enigma that must be solved. You are not a problem to be resolved. You are an enigma who challenges the system that people believe rules the world. They will become more aware of their own limitations as they seek it. They will be deceived by the same tools they once trusted. They will make errors in their calculations. Their methods will be ineffective. Their once strong belief systems will begin to exhibit indications of frailty. They will discover they have no control over something they don't even understand. However, only in quiet moments, in the solitude of their own perplexity, will they bear the load of an inevitable truth as they retreat, broken and wondering what they know to be true. Certain things aren't meant to be found. Not everything is designed to be understood. And you, in your full might, are one of those monsters. Furthermore, they will not return to work with a renewed sense of purpose. They will depart not just beaten, but transformed. So there's nothing left to pursue. There is nothing left to capture. There is nothing else to state. They came with tactics, expertise, and conviction. However, they were unprepared for what happened when they faced an impossible. They are taught with calm assurance that some things just cannot be captured. This is why the quest comes to an end. Not because they stopped trying. They had no intention of capturing you. You weren't expected to be stopped by them. They were just meant to show, feel, and understand that you cannot be controlled or restricted. They'll remember it when they realize the chase was never the objective. The knowledge of their own limitations was crucial. They'll know you're untouchable the more they try. You cannot be stopped. You are above them.